In the end, all we are is our story. What is your story, and what do you want it to say about your life? I'm Ann C.K. Nickel, a living, walking miracle who is on a mission to transform 1 million lives, one story at a time. Help me reach my big, audacious goal by joining me each week as we discuss all things story. Welcome to the Story Shepherd Podcast. Hello, everyone. It's a new, beautiful day. This is Ann C.K. Nickel, the Story Shepherd, living life on the upside and sending blessings to you all for a wonderful new week full of possibilities. Books are magic. Books can transport you to another world. They can make you laugh and cry. They can take you back in time or into the future. And books can lift your mood. And some of those books can motivate you to do great things. Those are the books I will focus on today. The ones that spark motivational magic. These 10 books all helped me at different times and gave me the push that I needed to either overcome an obstacle or to push through the fear and go after a big goal or dream. The first is actually a book and a movie, The Secret. I first read this book 20 years ago, and it made me think and feel things I wasn't ready for because my life was way off track. I then watched the movie 10 years later, and it changed my life. I finally accepted that my life was a mess. I was barely surviving an emotionally abusive marriage, and even though I was writing, I wasn't following my dreams. I cried and I prayed to God every night and day to show me the light and to give me the strength and the courage to live a better life. I then discovered and watched The Secret movie, and I reread the book. I loved the stories of others either overcoming obstacles or of starting small, but then doing amazing things, all by using the law of attraction and changing their mindset and their frequency. For me, it seemed to go hand in hand with my Bible lessons. What you put out into the universe is what you get back. So if you send out goodness, that goodness will flow back to you. It made sense. It's not always easy to stay positive, for we all have rough days, and sometimes bad things happen. But we can all do our best to not allow the darkness to drag us down and keep us there. There is always a light, a little bit of goodness, and we can learn to focus on that and be grateful for the little things. I learned to focus on the good, and that led to wanting more good things in my life. Eventually, I got the courage to file for divorce and left the emotionally abusive marriage. I finally believed I deserved more out of life and that I had the power to get it. I now watch The Secret anytime I need a boost, sometimes once a month. Add both the book and the movie to your list. The second book is Living Forward by Michael Hyatt and Daniel Harkavy. I am a big Michael Hyatt fan, and it started with this book. I had finalized my divorce, and I was renting a room from a friend while I looked for a new home to call my own. I had recently started my first business, and I worried about making enough money for a house, a car, food, utilities, and all the other bills. I was on my own for the first time in 20 years, and all of the different emotions, from fear to excitement, kept me up at night. Then I discovered this book. The subtitle spoke to me. A proven plan to stop drifting and get the life you want. I felt like I had been drifting for years, and I was ready to create a plan and a better life. I first read it on a cross-country road trip with a friend. I read it out loud, and then we discussed each chapter and how we could apply it to our lives. The first part that kicked me in the gut was this: life is not a dress rehearsal. There are real consequences for getting it wrong. I knew I had already messed up some of it, and I didn't want to waste one more day on regret. Living forward helped me with that. It's easy to follow, each chapter giving you the tools you need to create your life plan, and then giving you tips on how to implement it and stick with it. It discusses knowing your why, for you lose your way when you lose your why. And it teaches you about leaving a legacy, for the question isn't, will you leave a legacy, but what kind of legacy will you leave? I had drifted from the life I always wanted, and this book helped me create a plan to get back on track. The third book is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles. This book is referenced in The Secret, so I knew I had to read it to learn even more about using what I had learned in that book and movie. Wattles wrote this book in 1910, but his lessons are timeless. Now, there are some people who believe that money is the root of all evil. And some believe it's impossible to have a lot of money because of their childhood beliefs or circumstances. In this book, Wallace Wattles teaches you how to transform your money mindset and shows you how money can do good things. He explains that man cannot live fully without certain things that help our mind, body, and our soul. Our bodies need food, clothing, and shelter. Our minds need books and travel. Our souls need love and the power to bestow beautiful benefits to others, especially those we love. All of those things in this world require money. He sums that up by writing, "It is perfectly right that you should desire to be rich, that you should give your best attention to the science of getting rich, for it is the noblest and most necessary of all studies. If you neglect this study, you are derelict in your duty to yourself, to God, and humanity, for you can render to God and humanity no greater service than to make the most of yourself." The science behind his teaching may seem a little strange at first, but give it a chance to see how it expands your mind and your beliefs about money, about how to treat others, and about staying in harmony with the universe. The fourth book is The Success Principles by Jack Canfield. You all probably know him because of the amazing Chicken Soup for the Soul book series. I learned more about him while watching The Secret, and I loved his approach to succeeding. Now, this is a big book, which can feel overwhelming at first. But the 64 success principles are split into 6 parts, making it easy to tackle one section at a time. Read a section and then apply those principles to your life. I love that the first principle is taking 100% responsibility for your life. It can be hard to accept, to give up all the excuses and to stop complaining, but once you do, it makes everything else easier. That for me was the big overall lesson and message of this book. You are responsible for your life, and it is up to you to learn and apply these principles. No one will do it for you, but it's also something no one can take away from you. That lesson really stuck with me. I could have continued using the excuse that I didn't accomplish more because I was emotionally abused, that I was bullied as a kid, or that I didn't have the same conveniences growing up that people have now. And when an allergic reaction almost took my life and my leg, I could have created several more excuses. But I chose instead to keep pushing forward, and I published my first book while I was recuperating. I couldn't walk, but I could sit there and type, and I made it happen. And that is based on only one principle. Imagine your success after applying all of the principles in this amazing book. The fifth book is Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. This book is also referenced in The Secret. After interviewing over 500 influential men, including Henry Ford, Theodore Roosevelt, Thomas Edison, John D. Rockefeller, and Woodrow Wilson, Napoleon Hill discovered the secret to great wealth. He wrote this book to share that secret, which is based on the notion that if we can learn to think like the rich, we can also discover wealth and success. In the book, he teaches a 13-step formula to help you succeed. The foundation for it all is that thoughts are things, and that all achievement starts with an idea. Now, that should be exciting news for all of the creative people out there. Like me, I have a million ideas. And through all of the steps that include desire, faith, imagination, and persistence, there is one overall lesson: mindset. Change your mindset to believe you are worth more and you will have more. He includes a famous poem that I love called My Wage, written by Jesse B. Rittenhouse. Here it is. I bargained with life for a penny, and life would pay no more. However, I begged at evening when I counted my scanty store. For life is a just employer. He gives you what you ask. But once you have set the wages, why, you must bear the task. I worked for a menial's hire, only to learn dismayed that any wage I had asked of life, life would have willingly paid. You may want to listen to that again and think on what Hill stated about it, that no more effort is required to aim high in life, to demand abundance and prosperity, than is required to accept misery and poverty. It takes the same effort. This is a powerful book, so please add it to your reading list. The sixth book is Small but Mighty. It's U Squared by Price Pritchett. I learned about this book at a Bob Proctor seminar with attendees who were making big things happen. The idea behind this book that is, instead of taking small steps towards a goal, you have the power to make a quantum leap and accomplish more in less time with no more effort. Now, big goals can be overwhelming, so in most cases, it makes sense to take one step at a time. And it's true that a little progress is better than none. But we've also heard stories of people accomplishing amazing things in a short period of time doing what others thought was impossible. That's what Pritchett teaches, that if you change the rules for success, try an unconventional approach, suspend your disbelief that it can't happen, step out of your comfort zone, and light a fire in your heart, you too can experience a quantum leap. He believes that everything you need is already inside you, poised and ready to go. It's up to you to look inside and find that direction, strength, and courage. The 7th book is You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. I received this book as a gift, and it is one of the best gifts I have ever received. The subtitle of the book says it all: How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. We all need to learn that lesson. This book is full of wonderful little nuggets of wisdom, but my favorite part is the discussion of story, because as you know, I am obsessed with all things story. Jen believes, as I do, that our stories can be rewritten. She states that you're the author of your own life, not your parents, not society, not your partner, not your friends, and not the bullies who called you Fatzilla in junior high. And the sooner you decide to write yourself a better script, the sooner you get to live a more awesome life. Jen goes over so much more, including gratitude, forgiveness, fear, faith, and believing in yourself. This is one of those books that makes you realize you're not alone in this world, that someone else understands you and all of your crazy feelings. This book helped me realize that my story is important and that sharing it can help others. The 8th book is Chasing the Bright Side by Jess Ekstrom. I discovered Jess at the right time when I wanted to learn more about becoming a speaker, and I needed a confidence boost and some motivation. I found both in her Mic Drop course and this book. Jess's optimism shines through in this book as she teaches about writing your own story. She believes the moments in our lives that we can't control are our experiences, and our stories are how we interpret, internalize, and react to our experiences. And one of my favorite quotes in the book is, "We can't control our experiences, but we can always write our stories." I love the idea that the power lies within us to write our own story and make our own path. And we can use that and our passion to forge ahead with messy action towards our goals. We don't need to be perfect, for failure will always feel better than regret. Embrace optimism and add this book to your list. The 9th book is The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran and Michael Lennington. The subtitle explains it well. Get more done in 12 weeks than others do in 12 months. This is the perfect book for you if you want to increase your productivity and your income, balance your priorities, and accomplish your goals in record time. The main lesson is on redefining your year and discarding annualized thinking. This removes the pitfall of waiting until your yearly deadline approaches to maybe finally taking action on achieving your goals. The authors explain that it's human nature to behave differently when a deadline approaches. And with a 12-week year, the deadline is always near enough that you never lose sight of it. It's long enough to get things done, yet short enough to create a sense of urgency. To accomplish your goals every 12 weeks, they teach that you must have an emotional connection to your goals, develop your plan, commit to taking action, Then take it 1 week at a time and measure your results. They have a community and free resources, including sample 12-week plans, to help you take action on what you learn in the book. So check that out. The 10th book is Your Best Year Ever by Michael Hyatt. As I mentioned earlier, I am a fan, and this book is another favorite. In this book, as the subtitle states, Michael gives you a proven 5-step plan for achieving your most important goals and making your dreams a reality. Through the 5 steps, you will learn to overcome your doubts, get closure on your past, set goals that really work, know your why, and take strategical action to achieve your goals. One of my favorite parts of the book is about the power of beliefs, how they play a part in how we approach life, how some of those beliefs hold us back, but how we can exchange our limiting beliefs for liberating truths. He also teaches something that is a common theme in most of the motivational books that I read, that gratitude makes a huge difference, and it has the potential to amplify everything good in our lives. I am grateful that all of these authors and coaches took the time to share their experience, their knowledge, and their wisdom with the world. Their books motivate and inspire us to do great things, which makes the world a better place. So I hope you add these stellar books to your reading list and use what you learn to create an amazing year and a beautiful life story movie. Thank you for joining me today on the Story Shepherd podcast. Keep creating your epic life story movie, and please join me next time as we continue transforming lives one story at a time.